also on my phone, which I don't know. I haven't really used Zoom on my phone too much.
It's not so bad, actually.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, well, let's rock here. So we have a lot of updates. The redemption process is moving along quite nicely. We've got about a little over 4 million amps have been redeemed so far. There's a lot more pledged, actually. So I'm excited about that, and really looking forward to having all of this behind us, so we can focus on the really fun stuff of getting the technology out. Speaking of which, another extremely exciting announcement. So Mike Stay and Nash Foster of Pyrofex, yeah. Sorry, there was a call coming in. Are going to be joining us. We'll be negotiating a statement of work. So they'll be joining us to help accelerate our development efforts, and we're thrilled about that. So Mike and I have had long collaborations, and most of our work over the last couple of years has been focused on the getting all the mathematics nailed down for the ladle algorithm results. I don't know if people saw, but we have 2 new papers out on arXiv that have been submitted respectively to MFPS and Calco 2017, which it will be held in Slovenia, co-located in Slovenia this year. So people are welcome to read the arXiv papers. In some sense, these are very technical results that we needed to simplify the presentation of the ladle algorithm. In particular, nominal phenomena. So what do I mean by nominal phenomena? Nominal phenomena are things that have to do with variables or names in the pi calculus, ports, channels, things like that. So what we show, people like Jamie Gabai and gosh, I can see his face right now, but I'm blanking on his name. Anyway, he's a scholar of high repute. So Andy Pitts, there we go. So Gabai and Pitts and a whole sub-community have looked at a particular approach to nominal phenomena. With the row calculus, we have a different approach. What we show, so in their approach, there are many more moving parts. So in particular, when you go to utilize Leverrier theories, you'll have to treat the nominal phenomena separately, and that adds a lot of extra overhead. And we use the Leverrier. So basically, there's a correlation between monads and Leverrier theories, and we're showing that you can just get rid of all the nominal phenomena entirely. You can treat it all as syntactic sugar, and we get a great simplification in the presentation of the ladle algorithm. All right, so I didn't want to go quite so deep down that rabbit hole, but there it is. Those are those 2 papers have been submitted, and then Mike and Nash and the Pyrofex folks will be joining us now, not just to do the research part of this, but to also help with the development. So we're scoping out a statement of work today after the dev stand-up. So that's very, very exciting. We should be cranking then on the development work. And let's see, what else do we have? Well, we have lots of organizational stuff to talk about and some accounting stuff to talk about. So I'm going to turn it over to, yes, everyone is allowed here. The whole point is for the community to come and talk with us. So please, hello, Kit Blake, thank you for joining. And please don't hesitate to ask questions, show yourself, etc. Okay, so let me turn it over to Ed and HJ, whichever of you want to go first. We have some interesting questions, both about the ratio of rocks in circulation to rocks in the treasury, and how we're going to treat the rocks that we allocated for redemption. And so Ed has some data on that, and then HJ has some other accounting materials to talk through. So, and operations materials to talk through. So whichever of you want to go next, please, step forward.
Yeah, I'm ready. Is it okay, HJ, if I go?
Yes, of course. Go ahead, please.
All right, cool. Hi everyone, and welcome, Kit. Let me share screens. Am I sharing my correct screen? What do you see?
No screen yet.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Desktop 1, share screen. There we go. How about now?
Yeah. It's getting there. It's purplish right now.
I saw purple. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen.
Okay.
All right. Sorry, it's too complicated for me. Here we go. That will be. All right. Are you seeing a spreadsheet now?
Yes. Hooray.
Okay. Sorry for the confusion.
Shouldn't have 1,000,000,008. Anyway, go ahead.
All right. Yeah, I may have a formula error, but so wanted to start with a summary of what I understand to be the scenario AMP balance. So this data was taken from the spreadsheet, and I'll send a link here on the channel in a moment. Well, I'll go ahead and navigate to it just so you can see where I'm pulling the data from. So probably some of you have seen this sheet, which has several sub-tabs, and the balance that is visible to me is what's here and as of January 17th. So I took these numbers and put them in a slightly different form. You'll see this 84 million some total amps on the market. I actually had another number which is from the private sales, but so the original wallets are listed in column C. There were 2 billion amps created, and then subsequently burned were 1,072,000,000. So the total supply of amps is 972 and some million. The number that was in circulation is on the other sheet was these two, which was 84 million some. But from my calculation, there were private sales and others, which other may mean other bounties or other people being paid in amps. And
well, for example, iAngels was given, various private equity firms that invested in Scenario were also given amps.
Right. So the important number here for comparisons on the rock distribution is this 139,614,000, and that's roughly 15% of the amps that are available on the market. Okay, any questions on this? This is my understanding. Again, this was as of January, and I don't know what happened since January, or I'm just trusting this source here. Okay, and then on rocks, we have, the co-op has 2 wallets. They started out with 1 billion rocks spread over these 2 wallets. They were actually minted in wallet 1, and then 800,000.
800 million.
Was sent to wallet 2. And then to date, the transactions have been these, that 105 million sent to holdings, as we talked about, and redeemed thus far is 4 million and some. And then we have some planned additional transactions. We have some amount that's reserved for redemption, which is this 135,606,000. And then we also intend to burn some number of AMPs, 120 million, which
well, whatever isn't redeemed from the 139 allocated.
Whatever is not redeemed from 139 allocated.
So we're estimating right now it's 120, but whatever is not redeemed.
Okay.
It may be more than 120.
Okay. So then that results in a total target of 880 million supply, and the total redemption amount planned, estimated, would be just shy of 16%. And so to sort of see that on a pie basis, look like this. The total wallets is 72.2%. Sent to holdings is 11.9% after burn. And then the reserve for additional redemption is 15.4%. 0.5% has been redeemed thus far. And then there'll be other payments as well, but that'll come out of these wallets. We just haven't forecast all of those. For example, there's some developer payments, some marketing payments that are owed, and so forth.
Right. Exactly. So first of all, what we're saying is, if you started with an AMP, you had roughly 1 billion to the total supply. If you convert it to a ROC, at the end of this process, you will have roughly 800 millionth of the total supply. So your position is better. Now, if you go back to the pie chart for a second, Ed, then the other point is that we need to count holdings and all of the other payments as effectively being in circulation. So the total percentage of what's in circulation is much greater, right? Once the burn happens, that won't be quite the case, but it'll still be roughly within the ballpark. The only way to keep the ratio of what's in circulation to what's in treasury the same would be to burn a percentage of the treasury that would leave it will leave us in a place where we couldn't afford further. We couldn't be able to afford further investment in the long term, and that's actually bad for the co-op. Yeah. So, but we don't have any plans not to put the ROC into circulation, right? We as should be clear already by now. We hope very much to have a liquid and fluid, a distribution that's spread out over the community in an equitable manner, and have a good flow here. ROC doesn't work if it's hoarded.
Right. Just to contrast this again to the scenario wallets as of January, they had 15% in the market. Right.
Exactly. So for us, the point is, it really doesn't work if it's hoarded. It's just that we're not going to be in. We need the resource to be out there so that people are running contracts. If people aren't running contracts, then the whole platform stops.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Let's see. I had some other comments to make. Let's see. Do we want any discussion, any feedback before moving on to another topic?
Yeah, I had a question. A lot of people have been vocal about this in the community. They want to know what's up with the process of Greg getting his amps from Scenario, if that's still underway, and if those amps are going to be redeemed, and if they're going to be redeemed on time before the end of the redemption.
My amps will be converted into rock, and that's all I can say at this point. I'm legally bound not to say anything else, but they will be converted to rock.
Okay, right on.
All right.
I've also a question about what's the reason for burning rock? I don't see the point, in fact.
Yeah, I understand, and I totally hear you on this. We recently had a good chat with AB on Slack. Essentially, there are a number of investors who do want the improvement in position, and I understand that, and that has been our promise, is to make sure that when you move over, your position will be better than it was before. Now, different people have different impressions of what better means. Some people believe that better means that the ratio of what's in treasury versus what's in circulation constitutes a measure of dilution. Now, to be perfectly honest, I don't see it that way. I see it more as any one holder's percentage of the total. That's the measure of. And in that particular case, no one is being diluted. Everyone's position is being improved if we burn the amps. Now, if we don't burn the amps, people would be on par, right? They would go one for one. And one proposal that I have been using as a straw man to sort of ferret out different people's positions on this has been to take what was allocated that isn't redeemed and put it into a membership fund. So that when anyone joins up as a member, so the membership fee should be $20. I know we gave some people deals, HJ, you mentioned that. But the membership fee should be $20. That's what we've talked about for quite some time. And
it was 10.
No, it's 20. And if at membership sign up, people got 100 amps, right? At the current price, 100 rocks. At the current price, that would basically be a rebate of $10, $10 US. And there, the point is that everyone has access to that opportunity, right? But many people feel that many people feel that the improvement of position is more important than some fund like that. So that's been kind of that was my weather vane, was to float that proposal by, and people so far the response hasn't been well received. Even though there's no governance problem, there's no unequal opportunity there. But yet it's still the response that we've gotten is go ahead and burn the amps because that's what we promised we would do. So does that make sense, Shay? Have I answered your question?
I guess it's water over the bridge.
It makes sense, but I think it would have been better if the rock would be burned after the redemption process.
It is going to be burned after the redemption process.
Yeah, but there's also a big transaction to the holding of 105 million rocks.
Yeah.
So
just to comment on that. That was originally planned. That was planned, I think even, like in mid-January or something, when we thought the redemption process would finish up. And so that wouldn't be in circulation at the end of the redemption process originally. And just to remind people that that's part of the value proposition to investors in holding, which is a key source of investment and funds to the cooperative.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So part of the reason the rationale changed was the sequence changed. If that helps.
I mean, at the end of the day, the co-op doesn't have a founder's wallet, right? The scenario has committed 200 million amps to a founder's wallet, right? If you go back to their spreadsheet, Ed.
Okay, hold on.
That's true, yeah. So that's why you could burn it, for example.
So if you go to the AMP page, so if you look, there's this giant 200 million founders wallet.
Yeah.
We don't have anything like that. So, right. So, but on the other hand, if you go now to the ROC spreadsheet, we have sold 105 million ROC to holdings as a part of a deal so that they will be developing applications on the platform. So the co-op is going to be heads down building the platform and doesn't have the bandwidth to build the applications. Holdings will be building the applications, heads down on the applications, which constitute the set of requirements and observables that the platform is in fact delivering. So from our point of view, this is a doubling down on the technology, right? We're not doubling down on founders who may or may not be there later or who may or may not be doing something for the co-op. We're doubling down on the technology itself, right? And we're doing it at a rate that's less than what we gave to the founders.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to cover some other topics. Go ahead, H.J.
Is it possible that Patrick can make a summary of these statements of the Hangout so that it's clear for everybody what the reason is for the burning, etc.? Otherwise, I expect a lot of trolls going about this, and so.
Yeah, sure. We can do that. I've already put out one meme, and then we have this Hangout recording, and then we can put some more materials out there for what. I mean, part of it's difficult because we don't have the final number for burning until after the redemption process, right? The 120 million there is only an estimate, right? It's probably based upon the way things are happening now. There may be more burned, but there might be less. It really depends on how the remainder of the redemption process goes.
Cool. I wanted to cover some other topics. Yeah, just some more comments on redemption processing. We've done as we've mentioned on Slack 3 batches, and those have gone fairly well. It's a little bit of time consuming, but it's working. We're investigating one particular transaction that looked a little funny. So 4 million rocks and change have been redeemed, and we expect a lot more. There's several verbal commitments for some high numbers.
Yep.
I think when you look at the pie chart there and you think of the people redeeming the amps as early adopters of the platform, the 0.5% looks kind of small. There might be a better way to present that to get better parity with scenario in terms of
got it. I think it'll look a lot different in several days from now.
Yeah.
So some additional comments on the co-op side. We've been doing some marketing planning. One of the interesting topics that's come up is around moderation on Slack. And so, it's been suggested that we have some sort of rules of decorum, especially for those members of the co-op, and some clarity that so the community is aware who's speaking on behalf of the co-op, because it's, there's no organization chart, no list of people of who's in what roles on the co-op, so that can be somewhat confusing. So look forward to some more communication and discussion on that initially and internally with the co-op team. I've done a little bit of work with what I'm calling the work breakdown structure for what needs to be delivered for the platform. Greg and I and Navneet and the other developers have some more work to do on that. It's really a list of components, and then we will do a rough cut on that against milestones, and then also enhance that, if you will, with sort of usage. So a combination of use cases or end-to-end scenarios that need to be demonstrable across those components. I've also been working on a forecast and job descriptions for the co-op. As I mentioned before, the contractors we're initially looking for are developers on the platform itself. So, Rolang developers, those that'll work with peer-to-peer communications, those that can work on the Casper protocol, on compilers. And so these are developers programming in Rolang and in Scala. Anything else, Greg, on that?
There's going to be lots of nuts and bolts too. Like one of the things we'll get from Pyrofex, for example, is they have a whole DevOps infrastructure, for standing up nodes and managing nodes and those kinds of things. So all of the infrastructure that we were having to build by hand, right, and building out, with that was where a huge percentage of the development team was going beforehand when we were working on the scenario bits. Now that comes already packaged up in an automated fashion.
Very nice.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a great deal for us. But I just want to point out that software is never just the bits you deliver, right? It's also, as we know, managing nodes, connecting nodes,
and running automated tests. Yeah,
running automated tests, release management, all of that stuff as well. And that's a huge percentage of the budget, right? When you think about what we have people doing. So
got it. So that's it for my updates. Over to you, HJ.
Okay, I will share my screen. Share screen. And this is my presentation. So I call myself Ops, and I want to tell you what I've been doing last days. Oh. It's in the end, sorry. Wait a minute, I was just in the end. So, okay. I've been busy with finance, so I set up QuickBooks, I made a spreadsheet, and I want to give a redemption overview, something about member registration, and the SOW, and GitHub project management and GitHub collaborators that I want to tell something about. So the QuickBooks, the goal is to do a GAAP, and we are going to do finance on an accrual-based method of accounting. And probably in the coming weeks, I can give reports about the corpse finance. This a different way of presenting how the redemption is doing. I've this 95% is the amps which are in circulation, and you could say that about 5% of those amps are redeemed for ROC. It's about 4 million amps are redeemed, and there were about 75 transactions until now. And the biggest transaction was almost 1 million amp. There's also a video in the make about how to redeem, and maybe it's ready in 2 days. So that would be 2 days more for presenting this video. A guy, an Australian guy called Sam, he's living in Berlin, and he's setting this up. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So then there's also a form for membership registration. At the moment, I thought it was $10 to become a member for the RChain cooperation, but I will change it in 20. And there are 3 members who actually paid with Ether, and 3 paid also with Bitcoin. And the forum has also logical branching possibilities, and this can be a huge means to interact with our people. So what do I mean with logical branching? You have several kind of members. You have just a member who's lurking more or less. You have active members and worker members and members who can sign also paper. And each of those rectangulars, they have different questions. Active members and worker members, they can also earn something. If they want to earn in USD, then they have to provide different data. And if they want to earn in ROC, then it's more simple. So when somebody wants to become a very involved member, they have to agree with the values that RChain has. They have to tell something about their social skills and the work domain they are going to work in. It could be, for example, development, communication, finance, and support. So this is developed at the moment, but you could imagine all kind of different trees. We have also a kind of project management set up in GitHub. It's a normal Kanban style, so you have new issues, issues that are not worked upon anymore. They are in the icebox. You have a backlog and then things in progress. And there are already some collaborators, about 10 people. So I would also like to go more in organizational stuff. So I propose a standard member meeting just before this hangout. Is that an idea to do that? Or?
I'm not opposed to it at all. I may sometimes have to not be there because that would put me in meetings 3 solid hours.
Yeah.
And I need to spend a little bit of time developing, but maybe I can come 2 or 3 times a month.
Yeah, that would be great. So
HT, can you clarify the time on the West Coast? We're now in daylight time. So 7 a.m. Pacific time is 4 hours earlier than this meeting.
Oh, sorry. Then I have to change that.
I thought you wanted to do it 1 hour earlier.
1 hour earlier, yeah. But
that's 10 a.m. Pacific daylight.
Right. It's what's wrong written down. So Pacific.
Yeah. So 10 a.m. Pacific daylight time is 1 hour earlier.
Okay. Yeah. So next week there will be a member meeting at 1 hour before this meeting. Okay. that was what I had to say. Are there any questions?
So we have 17 members that have pre-registered as members, and they, I guess about 6 of them paid the $10. I guess we have to get $10 more out of them.
Yeah.
A lot of the and they're all added to the mailing list, but a number of people on this call did not pre-register and are not in the group yet. I'm wondering if we should just add them to the group, or if we should expect that people who want to join the co-op and become members or go through the pre-registration process.
Yeah, we can see what we do. We can add them, I think.
Should we just add you, Greg, or are you going to let you pre-register?
Wait. Oh, for the. Wait. Which one of this? Which one is this? The
co-op. On the RChain.coop homepage, pre-register as a member.
Oh, I see. I'll pre-register. Sure. Okay, HJ, did you want to continue?
No, I'm done. So.
Oh, okay, cool. No, I really appreciate this. Rashab, thanks for joining us. And I know I owe you a bunch of follow-ups, which I will be getting to right away.
No, it's okay. Thank you.
Rashab, are you speaking?
Yes, I was. I have missed like so many of these meetings, but it's good to be here.
Well, thanks for joining. Yes. Do you have any particular questions that you want us to address?
Not really. I'm really happy that the redemption process is happening. I think it's very easy, and just a little bit of the roadmap ahead would be nice. I guess from a generic point of view, like how's the like what's in store for the next 3 months, something like that. Like something very broad in terms of
Right. No, thank you. That's really good. So over the next 3 months, the most important thing is that we want to get the Rowline compiler completed so that people can start playing with it. And then as soon as the Rowline compiler is completed, we want to get the clean room Rosette VM done. In addition, in parallel, we will be working on the storage layer. So there's been some good work done on the storage layer so far, and we'll continue with that so that as soon as the clean room implementation of the Rosette VM is done, we can start storing the VM state in the storage layer. And as soon as, while that's going on, as you know, the Casper work is continuing. So I don't know if you've been following the Casper Hangouts, but Vlad has made some really nice progress with his version of Casper. And most of the progress that he's done, we can utilize in our version of Casper. So I've tried to make it so that there's enough overlap between what Vlad is doing and what we're doing, so that we can reuse as much as possible. One of the biggest differences, of course, is that instead of the binary state, which is what he's now simulating, we'll be storing transactions described in a compressed form, described by formulae. So yeah, thank you, Ed. So that kind of gives a picture of this. So as soon as resources free up on the compiler and storage and VM work, then we will put some of them over onto the implementation of Casper. So I don't want to promise any dates right now, but certainly within the next 3-month time frame, you should be able to run Rolang contracts against the existing Rosette VM. Yeah,
That's wonderful. And without wanting any dates, you foresee an alpha within the next 1 year at least, right? It will take you about that.
Oh, shorter than a year. But I'm not going to say more than that.
That's good. That's good enough for me.
Yeah.
And by when do you think the holdings company would start attracting people who are interested in building stuff? Because they need at least 2-3 months to just get their hands dirty on the platform, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll let Ed speak to that.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. So. Obviously we're tracking what's being done, but we're also thinking quite a bit about the requirements and the sequencing of dApps, to build out the ecosystem. And some of it we've talked about before, if you look at how Ethereum and Bitcoin evolved, right? They started with simple wallets and a number of other basic building blocks that were needed to enable a bunch of other things. So wallets and related to that some authentication scenarios, and then secure messaging and a number of other things. And so we've got a set of dependencies worked out and are thinking about the strategy, and we're starting to talk to organizations and developers about those things. But yeah, I think it's going to start a fair bit on the design and requirement side, but because we can't completely build Rolang contracts and stuff there, but we can build, for example, design contracts and interactions between contracts. So I think, for example, Navneet and I are going to be pretty busy writing these kinds of designs and specifications for the next few months.
And I'd like to my time if I could, so that simultaneously while you build the right architecture, the right people are also informed. So it's like a chicken and egg happens together. That's great progress.
Yeah, I couldn't understand everything you said, Rashad, but you're coming across pretty quiet. Can you repeat?
Yeah, I said that if any help is needed in that, so that the right people are experimenting on the platform and it happens side by side, the design requirements are fulfilled, aka the other people also keep working on the platform. So it's not like, so yeah, I could help on that. Like I was helping you earlier with LivelyCake, I guess. You made that document, right? Like in the list of companies. That's about it.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. So, those that aren't working, directly on the core platform. So it's going to be, like has already happened with Jim Weiscarver and Kent, leading these study groups on Rosette initially, and then that I imagine would evolve to testing and working with Rolang, and then before long it's going to be multi-node, and then before long it's Casper and Consensus and so forth. And then in parallel to that, there can be discussions about.
We are running bounties for people to coach us in the new class, and hopefully more down the road. But we have a lot of noobs that would like to extend their capabilities, and watching each other code and solving problems together is a good way for us to do that.
Awesome, Jim.
Cool. So let's see. Where are we in this process? Do we have any other updates we want to take a look at? And if not, Kit, you've joined us, I think, for the first time. Do you want to say hi?
Hello.
Sure, I'll say hi. And I can turn on the video, but I'm sitting in the dark, so it's going to be.
No worries, not a big deal.
I'm based in the Netherlands, and I was a fan of the original scenario RChain setup, and I followed everything that played out, and I know HJ because I live in the Netherlands, and I go to Bitcoin meetups, one of which he co-organizes. And he kind of nudged me to actually show up and see what's going on in terms of the community of RChain.
Great. Well, welcome. We're glad to have you here.
Thanks.
I can give you an update in terms of developers. I've reached out to a few developers in Brooklyn who are interested in building the platform or possibly the architecture. So that's something we can talk about as well, sort of offline.
Is this Nathan?
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Nathan. Yeah, great.
Hey.
Great. Sure. Yeah, send them my way. I'll talk to them and see what they're.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then as far as when you guys come into New York, we should be able to organize a meetup. So we should sort of narrow down dates for that, so we can get that down.
Sweet.
Ideally, I'd like to have an attorney, a journalist, and a moderator at the art gallery. That's kind of a play that I've seen happen in the city before.
Cool. No, that's a good idea.
I think you should invite Evan. Because he's one hell of a, help the co-op, so.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
He's counsel for the co-op, right? So yeah, that's good. That'd be great. Cool. That's very exciting. Actually, it reminds me. Just yesterday, Vlad and I did a catch up, and we're going to be getting back into the whole conference thing. As I understand it, Koala is going to be organizing a conference in South America. So we'll, with any luck, we'll be presenting there and just starting to get the word out about RChain again. It's and now that everything's all cleaned up and moving in the right direction again, we want to get the word out as much as possible. So we'll be back on the conference circuit also in the next few months to let people know about the work that we're doing. Cool. Well, if there isn't anything else, no burning questions or any other updates, I think.
One more thing.
Yeah.
Last week you were talking about the what was it? The SIT. Eliminating the variables from the computation.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So both the archive papers are up there now.
Okay. I was wondering if you have any quick response. I shared it with Marius. I guess I'll have to share them your paper links. He says, contrary to what Greg says about GLC, better use Chem Lambda because he uses Chem Lambda, which is equivalent to GLC. Is not confluent, excepting for Greg, the class of Lambda terms where it is eventually confluent.
Okay, so he has a calculus that's not the lambda calculus. So if he has a calculus that's not the lambda calculus, then that means the semantics for the lambda calculus is he's not going to have a fully abstract semantics for the lambda calculus. So that's fine. That's cool. He's got there are tons of those calculi out there. I'd have to look more carefully then at his Kim Lambda stuff. The last time I looked, he was implementing a Lambda calculus, in which case it is confluent. If it's no longer a Lambda calculus, then it's perfectly reasonable for it to not be confluent. So I appreciate that. And Marius is always welcome to come and chat with us. We'd love to hear about his updates on Kim Lambda. And
yeah, I've been trying to get him to come to our meetings.
Cool. No, that'd be awesome. Cool. That's good news. I'm always glad to hear that he's making progress with his stuff. Anything else before we sign off?
Yeah, I want to do a quick little call to action. For if there's anybody in the community that's non-technical but is still really interested in this stuff, and they want to develop their skills more as a digital marketer, so anybody with digital marketing experience, if you could reach out to me, we have some interesting ideas that we're gonna try to experiment with in the coming months, and it'll help to develop your skill set as well as participate in the cooperative.
Sweet. That's great. Yeah. Good call.
Thanks. Yeah.
Sweet. All right, guys. You guys have a good week, and I'm going to switch over to the Dev Stand-Up. And I guess that we can leave the meeting open if people want to hang out here, but I'm going to jump on over to the Dev Stand-Up. Ciao for now.